Hello everyone, welcome back to Monster Hunter Wilds. This time I'm going to be showcasing the differences that we have with the Charge Blade, because the weapon didn't look like it got a huge amount of changes from just looking at the weapon preview, but after playing with the Charge Blade for a few hours, there's definitely some big changes here, and a lot of them are very subtle, but they can be very impactful as well. So I will be going through all of the changes and how the weapon plays now, and then I'm going to challenge the final boss of this demo, Raidal, for a 1v1 with the Charge Blade. With that being said, hello everyone, my name is Dark Hero and let's get started. So we are here in the current training area of the demo, that is to say the only barrel that exists, but we can use this as a target dummy. Now Charge Blade still works very similarly to how it worked in the past, though there are some big changes. For example, the super amped elemental discharge playstyle, where you try to spam as many SADs as possible, is now a lot harder to do because there is a requirement to get there. But before that, you still charge your files normally, you still get to load them into your weapon, and then you get to, of course, to charge your shield like so, and if you want to charge your sword as well, you keep attacking, loading the files, and then charging the sword like so. All standard so far. However, there is actually one brand new way for you to load your files that is much more effective, it's a lot quicker, and can also give you a lot of advantages, and that is by performing this shield thrust. To get the shield thrust, all you need to do is press triangle and circle after any move in sword mode. So I can do this, into shield thrust, and after doing this shield thrust, what you're going to want to do is press R2 triangle and circle at the same time, provided that you already have some files that are ready to be loaded into your shield. So let's go ahead and put those files there. So if I want to empower my shield, all I need to do now is do the thrust into this new move, and now I empower my shield. And the really cool thing about this move is that while your shield is out, it actually counts as a block, which means that if the monster were to hit you, not only is this going to save you, but it can also lead to you following it up with an amped elemental discharge or even go into Savage Axe mode. And depending on the monster attack, you can also enter a power clash with the monster if you activate this at the right time, and following the power clash, you will also activate Savage Axe mode. I'll talk more about Savage Axe or Spinning Axe mode in a moment, because it actually got some huge changes. Now to use the SAD, you only really need to empower the shield, and of course you need files as well. You can of course always charge your sword as well, but if you simply want to use the SAD, you don't really need to do it. Now in order to perform the super amped elemental discharge, you will first need to perform an amped elemental discharge, of which there's plenty of ways for you to use it. For example, you go into Axe mode, you press triangle and circle, and you get an amped elemental discharge. While you are in sword mode, you can do a shield thrust and then triangle and circle, and you get another amped elemental discharge. Now from this amped elemental discharge, you have two different routes. You can either perform a big amped elemental discharge follow-up that is a combo spinning attack by pressing the circle button afterwards, like so. And from that elemental discharge into the follow-up, you can then press triangle and circle to get the super amped elemental discharge. Alternatively, from the amped elemental discharge, you can simply press triangle and circle at the same time, and you're going to get the super amped elemental discharge. Though naturally the benefit of going into the amped elemental discharge and then using the follow-up into the super amped elemental discharge is that now you have a bigger combo that allows you to deal more damage. However, if you simply wish to go into the super amped elemental discharge as quickly as possible, simply do the amped elemental discharge into the super amped elemental discharge, like so. And one key addition in Wilds is that of course of the focus mode, and you can enter focus mode by simply holding the L2 button, and while you are in this mode you are free to aim anywhere, and you can essentially change the direction in which your attacks are going to go. So for example, I can start an elemental discharge right here, go into focus mode, and then aim the super elemental discharge this way, and that is always going to land on the monster. So definitely keep this in mind, that whenever going for the super elemental discharge, you want to make sure that you always remember to use focus mode, because that is going to allow you to land a lot more hits, where otherwise you will not be able to land them on the monster. And although I cannot show it to you here in the training area, you can also follow up a guard point or just a perfect block by following up said guard point or perfect block with an amped elemental discharge. So to recap this brief segment, if you want to load up your files as quickly as possible, you can do it like this, and then you can follow up this by keeping on attacking the monster by doing these shield thrusts right after. And that means that if the monster hits you after you do this, and you do the shield thrust and then you go into the shield again and the monster hits you, you can immediately go into your spinning axe mode. So we're here next to this Chadakaber so I can show you how this works. Gonna throw in my lure pod so you can start targeting me, and now let's block an incoming attack. As you can see, you can follow it up immediately with the super amped elemental discharge, so long as you are ready to fire off the files. And once you enter a power clash like this, you're going to be able to also go into super amped elemental discharge, or you're able to go into savage axe mode like so. And now that you are in savage axe mode, you do also get a lot of benefits. For one, your file cost while in savage axe mode is actually going to be lowered. Specifically, it's going to be halved while you are in this mode, so you're going to be able to use it a lot more often. Additionally, another new thing that is also very important are these wounds that the monster has. I'm able to perform a focus strike against them, and as you can see, whenever I perform this move, if that part is wounded, oh look at that sick animation, I'm going to end with the savage axe mode as well. So there's plenty of ways for you to maintain savage axe mode for a very long time, and if I were to do an amped elemental discharge, let's see if I can get it off here. You can see that I only spent half of a single file, and that is because we're in savage axe mode, which means that we get a reduced cost of having the cost of our file attacks. So that is very nice. And as you can see, even your savage axe strikes do not consume your files, so you can stay in this mode for a very long time. However, if you perform a super amped elemental discharge, which to get there we need to do the amped elemental discharge, go into the follow-up, and only then are we able to go into the super amped elemental discharge. That would actually consume all of our files. But if we keep using this combo of the amped elemental discharge into the follow-up, we are only spending half a file while we do this, so it is a very powerful and very cost-effective way of you dealing damage to the monster. And again, we have a wound here, so we're gonna use it. We get back into savage axe mode, and we're back to having fun. And as I explained before, you're also able to go into the savage axe mode by performing a mount finisher. So let's see if we can get it off here. Not quite. There you go. Now that we are grappled and mounting the monster, there's two ways for you to deal with the monster. You can either attack with your knife attacks, or you can attack with your weapon. And attacking with your weapon, oh look at that amazing animation, so gnarly. And now we're back into savage axe mode. Like so. We don't currently have any files, but we can go back into sword mode, charge up those files like so, and then return to savage axe mode and enjoy having all of these files to destroy this monster with. And look at the powerful combos that you're able to dish out just like that. However, that is not all I want to show you, because one very unique thing that you can do now in Wilds with the Charge Blade that I think not a lot of people know about is that you can actually overcharge your files. What do I mean by this? Well, if you take a look at my files, they're currently all filled up, and if I keep hitting the target dummy, they're going to start glowing red, which means that if I press R2 and circle to load the files, in the previous game that would simply waste them because I still have files to use. However, now in Monster Hunter Wilds, if I were to load those files by pressing R2 and circle, you can see that my file icons are now changed. These files are now overcharged, and this has a couple of very important benefits. For one, these overcharged files seem to increase the file damage for around 40% of what you would normally do with each file, so that is pretty fantastic. Additionally, the duration on your shield buff is going to increase with each overcharged file, and given that you always want to keep these buffs active for the Charge Blade, overcharging your file to increase the duration of the buffs you receive is certainly going to be a very beneficial thing for you. It's also important to note that these overcharged files will not be removed when you consume only half of a file if you are in spinning axe mode, which again the savage axe mode is going to have the file cost. So not only are you able to now use the files more often because they're going to be at a discount in savage axe mode, but they will also deal much more damage so long as you remember to overcharge them. And naturally, as I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, yes, you can actually overcharge your files and then use them into the super amped elemental discharge to increase its damage. So let's go ahead and do that. With a follow-up and then the super amped elemental discharge. and all of that is going to deal additional damage. So yeah, despite some of these changes being very subtle, the Charge Blade is now a much more aggressive weapon that is not as much reliant on the SAED playstyle, but it's a weapon that is all about having different tools to allow you to deal damage to the monster, either by using the Savage Axe mode or the Super Amped Elemental Discharge with its combos. And now let me showcase the Charge Blade in action against the right now the most powerful monster that is available in the Wilds demo. And of course, a friendly reminder to always eat your meal before you go out on a hunt. And as I explained before in my previous videos, the food buffs now actually have a certain duration, so they last for longer than a single quest. So I'm gonna take these, and we should be good to go. Look at that meat, dude. And this is gonna look even better on PC. So tasty. And time to begin the quest. Oh, and there he is. You can already see him in the distance. Gonna put on the Ghillie Mantle, and we're going to start off with a sneak attack. Boom, just like that, big damage at the beginning. I tried to block to guard point the roar, that's fine. Let's load up our files, charge up our shield. And I know I showed you a different way of loading up the shield. I'm just so used to charging the shield and the sword this way that I have to kind of force myself to learn the different way. Alright, we're doing fine so far. Let's load up the sword, and I'm gonna get hit. And in case you're wondering who's speaking there, that's my Palico. Yep, that is his voice. There you go, that's the sword charged. Let's see if I can overcharge the files as well. He's going for the big attack, but I think I'm fine here. Gonna block that, there you go. Not quite enough for me to be able to follow it up, but that's fine. Let's go for an Amped Elemental Discharge to start dealing some good damage. See if we can wound any part. And he's already leaving, alright. Let's see if I can get a mounting attack here. That would help me out a lot. Got a wound here, so I'm gonna try to get that wound and go into axe mode. There you go. Look at that pizza cutter. And it's time to abuse Raidao. That's one KO. Can we get the follow-up? I barely reached, but it's fine. And of course you can also use focus mode to re-aim the Amped Elemental Discharges you're doing. Oh, he's gonna do the big attack. Nice, I'm fine. And keep in mind, guys, that you can always go back into axe mode. It stays active for a very long time, so I'm actually gonna overload some of these files. Hold on, we gotta block this. There you go, guard point. And I'm gonna block that. All good. Some big hits. I just need to be careful to not get hit by this. And I also need to sharpen my weapon, so let me call upon my Sacred real quick. And I'm going to try to go for a jumping attack as well. Oh, he's trying to kill my Palico. There you go, perfect. Love to see it. So in case you don't know, mounts now work a little bit different. You can attack with your weapon, and you can attack with a knife as well. Attacking with a knife is going to allow you to stay a bit longer on the monster, so that you can wound more different parts, but attacking with the weapon allows you to deal much more damage, and you also get to wound the monster. And of course you get quicker to the mounting finisher, which is this right here. Oh, look at that. And now let's go for damage. Okay, I'm actually gonna load up my shield, because my shield is not empowered right now. That's fine. Oh, he's running away. That's fine. And there he is. And is killing a Balahara. Come to me, Raidao. Let me break your face. Oh, he's got a wound on the back. That's gonna be a little bit difficult to reach. Let me try doing a slide attack here. Oh, I actually hit it. Nice, perfect. Look at that. Amazing. So yeah, I definitely need to master the skill of, or at least getting used to having the L2 button being pressed the whole time as I use my attacks to be able to aim them properly, thanks to focus mode, of course. That is definitely something that I need to get used to, because getting all of these hits in is going to allow you to deal so much more damage. I mean, look at this. We don't even have our shield or our sword empowered, and we're doing this much by just doing this basic combo, which is simply spamming circle, really. And again, you get to use these files at half the cost, so that's pretty fantastic. And especially seeing as these files are overcharged. Let's go for the follow-up. Big hits. Surprised we haven't been getting more wounds from all of this. And he's already running away again. That's a sign that the hunt is going well. Now I do have a pitfall trap with me, so I'm going to try to use it as well. Oh! Oh, I thought he would fall down. That would have been cool. Nice, we power block that. Or guard point that, I mean. He's gonna do another one. Not quite, that's fine. Need to load up my files, charge up the shield and the sword as well. I might be... Yep. I was right below him, but that is a very sketchy place to be because he falls back a little whenever he uses his special beam. But, as you can see, we're right next to him because I actually have a pop-up camp set up here, which is very likely going to be destroyed here. Oh, don't go away now. Block that. Very nice. Oh, I almost got that shield block off. That would have given us Savage Axe and also loaded up the files into the shield. That would have been really good to get. Nice, we're fine. That was close, but we're fine, that's what matters. I think we're building up a wound on the face. That's usually what those markers, the white markers on the enemy, indicate that you're building up a wound there. Dodge through that. I didn't mean to load up the shield again. Oh, the tail is wounded. That's nice. Let me see if I can get it. Nice. Beautiful. Let's do some big damage here. Would you stop fleeing? Oh, I couldn't block in time. That was a bit greedy of me. I should not be getting in the middle of these two. Okay, we're fine. Oh, the face is wounded now. And the leg here as well. I want to see if I can do some extra damage before I actually pop the wound. I am taking a lot of damage, so I want to be careful here. I'm definitely not being very defensive. I kind of just want to use this as much as I want. As much as possible, I should say. I don't know what the hell he's doing, but I'll take it. We dodge that. Amped elemental discharge into the follow-up, and now let's pop that wound. Beautiful. Nice, that should be a big KO. There it is. I probably should have loaded the files before, now that I think about it. But we're not gonna think too much about it. Just go for damage. As much damage as I can muster. Hopefully the follow-up doesn't pop the wound there. He still has the wound, so I'm gonna go for it right now. So that we can go back into axe mode, potentially KO him. Oh, we get to break his horn, that's very nice. I'm actually gonna lay down a pitfall trap here. See if I can get him. Nice, beautiful. Hopefully he's not one of those monsters that attacks you while he is in a trap. We got a wound in the wing as well. My sharpness is back to yellow. I tried to guard point there, but I was too slow, so that's fine. Get on the sacred to sharpen. Just being able to 180-degree change the direction of your attacks with focus mode is such a nice quality of life. Or I should say it's a big change in combat, but I like it so much. Let's go. Big amped elemental discharge. Can we get the follow-up? Nice. I think he's gonna try to leave now. Oh, I'm already seeing the skull here. Beautiful. I'm gonna try to pop the wound that he has on the left side. Or on his right side, I should say. Let me get up close. Nice, we pop it. Doesn't quite go down. These fights get a little bit hectic. In this terrain, it's a little bit difficult to see everything. And I have my camera zoomed out the most that I can. So it's kind of rough in these situations. Nice, we had a nice flinch there. Load up the files into the shield. I learned how to do that. Oh, I tried to go for a cheeky tail attack there. And he's going back to his nest. I'm gonna put on the ghillie mantle as I approach so I can do a sneak attack. He's actually sleeping. Okay. Well, that changes things. Huh, you cannot do a sneak attack while he is sleeping. That's interesting. Of course, gonna place down these large barrel bombs, and you can actually throw them at the monster now, so I'm gonna do that. But the way that you do this is actually a little bit weird. If you simply tap the roll button, it's not going to be very accurate, but thankfully you can actually aim them with the reticle, and that can certainly help. But I'm actually going to put it down first, because I do have a pitfall trap here. In case you were curious, the shock traps do not work against this guy. And let's hope that this lands. Boom! There you go, beautiful. Boom, where'd the cost go, guys? Nice, we guard point that. Another roar. I missed that one, that's fine. Although I am now in axe mode, so a little bit more vulnerable. Oh, straight into the trap he goes, perfect. My master plan never fails. Yeah, like you see how he kind of goes back a little bit whenever he does that attack? That's kind of what happened before when I carted, where the knockback from that attack ends up getting me. Oh, I thought I would be able to go into the Savage Axe there. It was not quite a perfect counter. Looks like we can overcharge the files, so let's go ahead and do that. Now, is there a wound that I can pop real quick? Nope, not quite, that's fine. Let's do some basic rotations here. Okay, I was able to block that, nice. I was not quite sure if I made it there. Go for the double circle attack. I should be limiting my file usage here so that when I get into axe mode I can actually have files ready to use. There is a trap here that we can use. It should be... yeah, there it is. This huge spike right here. We're actually able to use it. I haven't used the flash pod either this entire time, so... and we get supply items from the sacred. Can you come here? Gonna throw a few slingers at him just to get him to come here. There you go. That should be enough. Boom, right on top, perfect. You'll love to see it. Big damage. Last time this did about 800 damage. I'm not sure if you were quite able to see how much damage it dealt. So that is definitely a huge chunk of that guy's HP. Nice. We dodged that. Beautiful. Now I'm just trying to look for wounds or a way to get into the axe mode very quickly. Because the only way in which you can get into axe mode is by doing a perfect counter. Or by getting a wound. Or also by mounting. That's another thing as well. I was not quite enough as fast as I should be with the timing, so that's why I didn't get it there, despite being a guard point. Let's go for these follow-ups, deal damage. Ooh, that was a lot. Ooh, I spot a wound there in the wing, let's go for it. Let me just load up the files first. Okay, we're fine. Oh, and I was about to do the big attack to go into axe mode. We got him. And as you can see, the Charge Blade really is a very powerful weapon that is a lot of fun to use. And again, you have a lot more ways to use it now, because not only do you have the still viable SAED playstyle, but now you just don't focus on spamming it as much. But you can also use the Savage Axe playstyle that can also be very powerful. I'm honestly a huge fan of the changes they have made to the Charge Blade, especially with the overcharging and raising the skill floor for this weapon by making it so that getting into Savage Axe mode actually takes some skill. As a result, this weapon ends up being very rewarding for those that are actually good with it, so it's going to be a very fun weapon for you to learn and eventually master. I'm going to be making more videos like this for all of the other weapons, so let me know which weapon you would like me to cover next. With that being said, my name is Dark Hero, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, happy hunting!